Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Live Show, episode 64 tonight, I believe. It's been a couple weeks, so it's good to see you all, or at least you guys here with me. I'm Kellen with Tim, Ron, and Kyle. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
Hey, this is Ron.
Hey, Kyle here.
So, well, actually on my screen, it's like black and white color, so hopefully you guys aren't too thrown off. I'm just feeling a little raw tonight, so. Let's talk G3 though. Tim and I both have AT&T G3s. Well, Tim's had a Korean G3 for a couple of weeks. Now he's got the AT&T model. I finally have the AT&T model. So we got some things to say about that. We're trying to get our review ready for the end of the week because we know a lot of you are asking. And since by Friday, actually, it should be on every carrier, I believe. So AT&T came out last week, T-Mo today, I believe, then Verizon tomorrow, and then I think Sprint on Friday. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Wrap up some conversation about Android Wear. Well, obviously, Android Wear is not going anywhere. It's going to evolve, but Tim and I both put out our reviews for the G-Watching Gear Live, so we'll talk about that. And we got some other things like an Xperia Z3, maybe a Sony device finally coming here. Verizon changed some things. When are they not changing some things? Although one could be good, one could be bad. We got some apps and games, things like that. So, yeah, G3. Tim, do you have anything new to say about the G3? I think you talked a lot about the G3 2 weeks ago when you saw the Korean model, but have you, now that you, let's say you had to give that one up and then the AT&T model came out. And so I think you were without it for a couple days, right? You had to switch back to a different phone.
Yeah, I went back to the Moto X just for giggles, and what a different experience. I mean, you go from like a quad HD 5.5 inch to the tiny little 720p MX, and I mean, it was fine. Any phone suits me, although the camera is unusable in comparison to the G3. But as for having anything new to say, people were curious about the battery life in comparison between the Korean model and the AT&T model, seeing as how this one is, built for the networks over here. And I have nothing but good things to report. G3 has awesome battery life, even though it has the power 2560 by 1440 resolution. Everything seems great. Besides that, nothing too new to report. Although on the AT&T G3, they removed the brightness slider from the pull-down notification shade, which is really disappointing. I don't like having to press the button. I feel more comfortable sliding it. For some reason, I've just always been a slider, and I'm really bummed that they removed that. So
yeah, that was one that annoyed me right away. What's that, Kyle?
What about battery life compared to the G2?
I mean, it's pretty much on par with the G2, I'd say. I rocked a G2 for a while, and I mean, but that was so long ago. I've used a lot of phones since then in the G2, but I mean, it lasted a solid day, and you can get through a day and a half if need be. I mean, depending on how much you use, Like I'm a power user, but then again, I'm on Wi-Fi quite a bit. But say over the weekend, I can go a solid day with no Wi-Fi connection. So. And
yeah, I was going to say the few days I've been with this version, I think at nights, at least the last couple of nights, I still had like 35% left when I plugged my phone in at like 11 o'clock at night. So pretty good battery life. What are you seeing on your G2? I forgot. I remember the G2 was great battery life, but I forgot. It's like Tim said, it's been so long.
Well, it usually lasts a solid 12 or 13 hours for me. I think the Android Wear app is kind of killing my battery, but I don't know. Yeah, so at least a day, if not a little bit more. So
okay.
if the G3 battery is as good as that, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it seems to be really.
It's better than that, because I mean, sure, I have been on Wi-Fi all day, but right now I'm at 14 hours and at 70%, and I play games on my phone like all day, so that's pretty solid. I took one screenshot the other day because I was so darn impressed. I had 40% screen on, like 2.5 hours of screen on, but I was at 16 hours and 30 minutes. And
that's excellent.
How many hours of screen on?
Only 2.5 from what this says. So 40% of the battery was used by the screen being on.
Yeah.
I don't know
what I've been unplugged for 12 hours, over 2 hours of screen on time, and I still have 43% left. So it seems to last a long, long time. It's done well, yeah. So my thoughts then, since Tim has nothing new to share, right now I will say this is the phone of 2014 for now. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a new Note and we'll see a Moto X, but this is my favorite phone compared to the One M8 or Galaxy S5. While it is quite large, LG did a nice enough job with the build of it to make it not huge. Like I did a comparison video today to the Galaxy S5 and One M8, and the M8's just as tall because of those giant boom sound speakers and bezels and stuff. It's obviously not as wide, but it's just as tall. So if you can handle the One M8, you could handle the G3, which is kind of crazy to think because it has a whole half an inch more on the screen. The camera seems awesome, super fast. The display's good. Well, it's Quad HD. I don't like it just seems a little dull to me, colors and all that stuff. The brightness, it doesn't get quite as bright as like the Galaxy S5 does. It's still good. It's not bad by any means. Otherwise, so far, really great phone. It's probably my favorite phone of the year so far. Probably second to the OnePlus One.
It'll be interesting to compare.
On top of the OnePlus One.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh no, Kyle, please.
I was just going to say it'll be interesting to compare that display to the one found in the new variant of the Galaxy S5 that is available in South Korea right now. Because I just read a review of that display, and the reviewer said it had some of the best color reproduction he'd ever seen, and it's also 2K, I believe. So
sometimes I feel as if the Samsung with the Super AMOLEDs, the colors can be a little exaggerated.
Always.
Yeah. Green.
Well, you have to put it...
Kind of like your Instagram profile.
Hey, I've been cutting far back on the HDR scape, so screw you, man.
Kind of like me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, granted, the test I saw was done in with the display in cinema mode, so probably stock wouldn't look that great.
Yeah, you got to rock cinema mode on AMOLED, that's for sure.
I feel
I
that
guess so.
the display on the G3 is almost too bright sometimes. Like you mentioned brightness, and sometimes I feel like it's too bright. I never have it over like 40%.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's just me, And even when I'm outside, walking the dogs, and I got my stunner shades on, like I don't even need to have it at full brightness. I have it like around 80%. So for me, the brightness isn't a big deal, and also the colors. I actually like that it's not overly saturated, say on the Moto X or something like that. I kind of like it toned back a little bit, more neutrals, but and that's all user preference. I think a lot of that stuff is just like user preference, but I see what you're saying. I like it like this. I like that IPS.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just think for me personally, the Galaxy S5 just looks better. But was that wrong?
I was just going to say, so Tim, so what you're saying is that LG can actually make a screen that you can see on the outside?
Say that one more time.
LG can actually make a screen that is visible when you're outside?
Yeah, unlike the G Watch. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, well, I mean, even the Samsung Gear Live is crap in the sun.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that Motorola comes through. I mean, even from our brief 5 minutes with it, like we were in sunlight in the Moscone Center. And
not that kind of sunlight.
Not that kind of sunlight, but it was still quite, it was you could see it.
I think the Moto 360 will be just as bad, but
I think it's going to be better.
At least it'll look cool with that black screen and
right. It'll still look cool while you can't see it.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah. But so G3, awesome phone. If you're thinking about getting it, don't even hesitate. Just do it. Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, again, compared to the Galaxy S5 and One M8, at least personally, I would put it above both of those. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything between those? I mean, those are the only two phones I think we would even consider recommending to people at this point. Mm-hmm. Is there anything from the M8 or the S5 that you guys would say that's superior? So if there's something, like a particular thing that if that's what you really want in a phone, then get that instead of the G3, or is it just across the board better?
If you want a mini speaker that's portable, get the M8.
That's true. That's true. If you want really good speakers, that's a good
Really
point.
good speakers. If you want a phone made of metal, I mean, I don't, but if you do, the M8 is the one. Although the G3 has a fake brushed metal look, so it's kind of the same style. It's just not metal.
Right.
Galaxy S5, again, personal preference, but the display's slightly better. If you like physical home buttons that sort of act as fingerprint scanners, you need a heart rate sensor. Dimples.
That's what I'm hearing. Just get
Band-Aid.
the G3 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally a huge fan of the Galaxy S5 at all. So, like, I would recommend the One M8 over the Galaxy S5, but G3, there's not a lot. I haven't found anything really wrong with the G3 at this point, I guess is kind of where I'm going. Like, there's nothing that just drives me nuts. The size, like I said, I've started to get used to that, but I was using a OnePlus One for, like, a month before that, which is huge. So this is actually smaller, so it actually feels...
And this is obviously, like, ignoring your giant manifesto about giant phones.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I had some sort of moment at some point where I said...
Where you saw the truth?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe I saw the truth. I think I just told myself, stop fighting it, because all of these dumb manufacturers are going to keep creating giant phones. You better just accept it. And so I just live a two-handed life now, Ron. Yeah, so G3, really, really great phone. Don't have anything really negative to say about it. Even the LG skin's not bad.
It's
serviceable.
The colors could be a lot better.
Yeah, they could. Well, they're like dark and like.
It looks like they went to the opposite extreme of Samsung.
They did.
Like they're very muted, which probably makes it better to look at all day as opposed to like an S5 with giant, crazy, oversaturated colors. But I don't care for the color scheme of it. But that's an easy fix with a different launcher and icon pack.
It is, yeah. One of the things I think is kind of funny is it's almost like they follow the trends of like Android style. Like if you look at all the icons, they all have like a long shadow. Like they're all flat, but then have a long shadow.
Yeah.
Like every Android icon pack from the last year. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that was the only thing. As I was looking through like the tips and tricks videos and all that, that was the only thing where I was like, that could have been better. And obviously there's a few other like taste things, but and I would throw that in taste as well. But other than that, I mean, it seems like this is, if you're looking to get a new phone right now, this is the one to get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had the camera stuck on me forever. Why didn't you guys tell me that?
Somebody put it in chat, and there's no way for us to tell if that changes. I just hoped you saw it.
I just saw it and unclicked me. Sorry that, I totally hijacked the show for the first 20 minutes or so.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, there's Tim and Ron and Kyle.
That's right. We don't mind.
Okay. So yeah, G3 right now I would say is the Android phone to buy if you're looking for one. So even with the Verizon variant and all its logos. Yep. All right, so let's see. Android Wear. Kyle is now an Android Wear owner. It sounds like. Did you go Gear Live?
I do have a Gear Live.
And how long have you had this Gear Live? For a week, probably.
Yeah, since it came out.
Okay, so let's hear it. So Tim and I, we'll get into our reviews and stuff. We obviously talked about Android Wear a couple of weeks ago. Love to hear your thoughts on Android Wear now.
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected, I guess. And what I mean by that is the functionality is pretty limited. But I think that's how a smartwatch should be. It's basically Google Now on your wrist, which Google has been saying for a while now since they unveiled Android Wear, basically. So it has all of your favorite voice commands. You can give commands to your watch. It'll execute things on your phone. For example, tell it to open a web page, something like that, save a reminder, etc. And it'll also display, information like sports scores for the teams you follow, weather, and upcoming appointments, calendars, that kind of thing. Let me see, what else? Okay, besides that, Gear Live specific features. It has a heart rate monitor, which doesn't work all that consistently.
Of course not.
So that's not really a selling point, I guess. And I mean, all Android Wear devices will have this, but there's also a built-in pedometer feature. It keeps track of how many steps you take every day. As far as my thoughts on it, I like it. I definitely think it's nice getting notifications on my wrist. It definitely saves a couple of seconds. I don't have to fumble around with my phone. I don't know. I like being able to give voice commands, to a device that's near me at all times. I do think that the Gear Live's design is lacking, though. The G Watches as well. But I don't know. I just haven't gotten used to the square form factor. The round is so classical, and I think Motorola really hit it out of the park with the 360. So I think I will be selling this as soon as the 360's launch date is announced. But it was a good way to dip my toes into Android Wear, and I'm pretty pleased with the operating system.
So is Android Wear, though, like, have you decided this is something you have to have in your life? Are you just kind of meh about it? Is it a breakthrough in technology? Like, is there anything about it that's made it something you maybe can't live without anymore?
Can't live without. I could definitely live without it. It's not a necessity, but
Is it a nuisance? Is it helping?
It's not a nuisance. It kind of it gets out of the way, which I think was the goal, obviously. I mean, I have had to mute a few notifications, but it's mostly a help rather than a hindrance, I guess. But honestly, I can't think of a better smartwatch operating system on the market. Pebble probably comes the closest, but we've already seen developers adopt Android Wear at a pretty rapid rate. I think there are already like 90 apps available for it.
Okay, speaking of the apps, are any of them any good?
Now that's a different story.
Somebody wrote this article for Time, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that basically said all the developers making Android Wear apps are doing it wrong. And I couldn't agree more with this guy's article. He basically said stop making dumb calculator apps and apps that are essentially standalone apps on Android Wear. That's not what Android Wear is for. And I think the guidelines even say, like, don't make heavy input required on your watch. Like, no one wants to do that. These are supposed to be extensions of apps that either recommend information or put information in your face. I don't know.
I guess the Minim guys didn't get the memo.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
Minim guys definitely didn't get that note. I don't know. I haven't, I keep looking at the list of apps. Somebody has a website that's keeping track of every single Android Wear app that's out there, and I looked through it yesterday because they updated again yesterday, and I was like, I'm not seeing anything here that's drawn me to it. I'm waiting for someone to come up with a cool idea that actually makes the watch something that I don't want to ever take off my wrist.
Common sense things like calculators, but I just use Google Now for that. I just use voice input.
Yeah, I mean, that's how ridiculous that is. That some guy's creating a calculator app when all you have to do is go, okay, Google, do this math equation. It'll tell it to you. You don't even have to punch anything in. So.
Exactly. That has been really convenient for calculating tips at restaurants for me. But a use case there. As far as third-party apps go, funnily enough, I think one of the most popular ones right now is a third-party launcher of sorts. The Android Wear Mini launcher. Basically, it's kind of cumbersome to access all your apps on Android Wear. You have to tap the watch. Then you either have to activate them by voice or scroll down to a setting, and then you can access a list of them. The Android Wear Mini launcher basically adds like an overlay that you can access by swiping to the left of your watch, and it's just a list of your apps. And I think it has a brightness slider now. The brightness slider is also difficult to access. All the settings are kind of hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that'll get better over time, but
yeah, Android Wear has a lot of growing to do, I would say. So Tim and I put out our reviews for the Gear Live and G Watch, and I I don't think either of us came away loving either device necessarily, to put it fairly. G-Watch, like Android Wear, I like the start. Has a long ways to go, I think, before it needs it needs to be in my life. The G-Watch is definitely not the watch I would go for. It just looks like a black box. It looks like it has no inspiration behind it. Look, some people want just a black square on their wrist. I just don't personally. I also don't prefer the Gear Live design either. So, like Kyle, like you said, I'm waiting for the Moto 360. But Tim, since you put out your review, have you gone back? Like, are you still wearing the Gear Live every day? Is it even charged right now? Did you already break the charger? Like, what's going on with your Gear Live?
I wear it when I want to impress people, like with that I know that care about technology and stuff. So I just got back from a trip to San Francisco on Monday, and I was meeting with some people who care about technology. So I wore it down there, and they liked it and stuff, and talking Android Wear and all that. And then, but other than that, I don't really use it. I mean, I'm still kind of in that boat. Like my whole review was kind of like, okay, Android Wear is cool, the Gear Live is okay, but you should probably get the 360. And that's kind of still how I feel. I really like Android Wear, but then again, let me just say that it's been like really too hot for me to wear a watch anywhere because of my wrist would get all sweaty and stuff. It's just like it's too hot, and because it's like a silicone band, so it just rubs on your wrist kind of wrong when it's hot outside, and I don't care for that feeling whatsoever. So the Moto 360 has a leather band, so that actually might be kind of cool. But either way, I like Android Wear. I really think it's heading in the right direction. I'll still say that it is exactly what I wanted from a wearable platform. It's like having Google Now on your wrist, and that's exactly what I wanted because Google Now is actually quite helpful. And other than that, the design is uninspired, to say the least. It's kind of like having a black box on your wrist, kind of like yours, but with like just a little bit of a design metallic flare around the edge of the display. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty simple. You mentioned you want like a feature, an app that'll make you want to wear the watch, but like in the case of the Moto 360, the thing looks so good you want to wear it, it's like a fashion piece, and then the additional functionality kind of kicks in. I feel like I want something that looks good first, especially if I'm going to wear it there for everyone to see. So I hate talking about the 360 so much, but I really hope it's as awesome as we keep saying it is going to be. Because I know we don't know exactly, thanks Ron, but I'm still very hopeful. So hopefully it comes soon, because I'm getting tired.
Yeah, we still don't really know. Speaking of the 360, we keep thinking soon, and it's mid-July. Haven't announced it. We keep thinking maybe they'll wait for the Moto X launch, but guy was hearing today that the Moto X might not show up till September or something. So it's tough to say. I can't imagine Motorola's going to wait that long. So
it would still technically be summer, though.
I think it would.
I don't like technicalities.
Sort of hoping August, yeah.
Well, they did say late summer, so that would make sense, I suppose. Unfortunately.
Yeah, everyone mark the last day of summer on their calendars right now.
Yep.
So yeah, Android Wear. I guess basically it's got a ways to go. It's a good start. We're starting to see developers try to think about doing stuff for it.
Tinder's on it.
That's right, Tinder is on
I don't know if you guys use Tinder. I'm guessing none of you guys use Tinder. And just in case she's listening, I do have a girlfriend, but I downloaded Tinder. I told her that I was downloading Tinder on my phone just so I could like write it up and stuff. Because a girl like gets on your phone, she sees Tinder, she's gonna be like, "What the hell is this?"
What's she doing on your phone anyway?
Yeah, she just needs to use my phone. She's playing games and stuff. Who knows? It's just that phone? She does. It's crap. It's iPhone. Oh. She likes to use mine. It's got the QHD display and it's nice and big. So, either way.
She finds out about your Tinder account.
Tinder. Yeah. So I downloaded Tinder and I was playing with it on the watch and it really worked. It actually was cool because like you're just on there. You can just swipe left or right to say hot or not or whatever, and you get the match right there. And it was actually really intuitive, and it was actually kind of cool. And it just worked. It was very simple, and I dug that. And it's not something you can do on the Pebble because then their profile pictures will be all pixely and black and white and ugly. So I'm really digging the platform. So
I think the Lyft app is pretty cool too.
the
I mean,
Lyft
I
app.
don't use it, but I think it's
Lyft.
pretty awesome. You can just say, call a car, and one will be on its way in a couple of seconds without having to
That's
get your phone out or anything.
So things like that are cool. I guess it just goes back to that article where the guy said stop, making standalone apps that require a bunch of, manual input and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like messenger apps make sense because you can, use voice to respond to people, things like that. Obviously, the Google Now stuff, flight information, all that stuff makes sense on a watch, but I don't know. I just don't want anyone to take it too much further than that. Otherwise, it'll become a Galaxy Gear or something like that, which I don't think anyone
God forbid
wants.
that happens.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, so Xperia Z3. So just briefly, so Sony creates all these phones, and no one here ever buys them because they never come to the U.S. But apparently, the Xperia Z3, which I can't believe there's already a follow-up to the Z2, which just came out a couple of months ago, cruised through the FCC today on its way to the U.S. So I don't know if that means it's actually going to show up. Who knows? Tim, do you have specs for this Z3, or rumored specs anyway?
Rumored specifications are 5.2-inch display, same as the Z2, apparently, reportedly. Um, and let's see, they didn't say QHD or 1080p. I would just assume 1080p. I haven't heard any talk about Sony coming up with a QHD display. If they did, if it was priced anything like their TVs, I'm guessing around $50,000 for this phone. Snapdragon 805 processor, 3 gigs of RAM, and that's all that was. Oh, and of course the 20.7 megapixel camera, same as you'd find in the Xperia Z2.
Okay.
But other than that, that's all we got so far. It's still early, but apparently it hit the FCC. It's just really weird, Like it just
really
seems like
weird.
the other day we were talking Z2. So
Yeah, so that could mean like an IFA unveiling potentially.
that's what they're saying.
That's what the kids on the street are saying.
Yeah, kids down the
So
block.
Verizon won't
Yeah.
get this phone until next year, right? Summer next year.
Yeah, it's just so weird because we've seen promo images of a Z2 with Verizon branding on it a number of times. So, whatever. They gave us a Z2 tablet, which I'm sure they'll just sell a ton of.
Especially at that price point.
Yeah, it's $600 or whatever it was.
Well, that's cheap
Yeah.
for Sony.
All right, so in terms of new Verizon things going on, happenings, the device payment plan. Are you guys all familiar with the device payment plan?
Yeah.
Anyone?
I've never used it, but I'm quite familiar.
Okay, so device payment plan is now gone. It's history. The only upgrade. Is there like a remote control car driving around somewhere?
Something's making like a really high pitched noise. Yeah.
Kyle,
It sounds like a remote
what are you
control
doing
car.
over there?
Yep.
Yep. Bye, Kyle.
All right, so so the device payment plan was what a lot of people were using to upgrade to new phones and keep unlimited data. So it would basically broke down a phone into 12 installments. They also tacked on like a $2 per month fee. And so it wasn't a great deal, but you could do this and then upgrade to a new phone without having to pay full retail right up front. It's now gone. So the only way for anyone on Verizon who has unlimited data to keep unlimited data is either to buy phones at full retail right now, or I believe you can still do the upgrade swap where you take an upgrade from another line, like, or you have them upgrade and just take the phone and just activate it basically on your line. That's pretty much it. So you have one less option if you are an unlimited data user, which is sort of unfortunate. Outside of that, prepaid plans for Verizon, they're all set now have 4G LTE. And if you look at these, I was looking at this before the show actually, Verizon's look like the best option of anyone. I don't know if you guys have looked at these at all since these were announced. I feel like this is news that kind of didn't get enough attention. Basically, so $45 gets you unlimited talk, text, and 500 megabytes of data. And then you can add on either 1 gig at a time for $10 or 3 gig for $20. And if you sign up for auto pay, they'll just toss in another 500 megabytes for free. So if you did the 3 gigabyte option and you did auto pay, you would get 4 gigs of data and unlimited talk and text for $65 with access to Verizon's LTE network. AT&T's $60 Go phone plan is only 2.5 gigs of data And T-Mobile's, let's see, their 3 gig plan is $60, or they have a 5 gig plan for $70. So that seems pretty competitive. But yeah, when we posted this, no one seemed to really care. Do
I
any
think
of you
because
guys
it's
care about that?
Verizon, dude. Like Verizon's
leaving?
data, even if it is 4G LTE, I mean, it's still. It seems like it might be slow. I've been on AT&T's prepaid for like their Go phone plans for a few months now. I actually haven't had a phone on 4G LTE from Verizon for a few months, so I really don't even know how the data speed is anymore. Although I will say I am getting a G3 on Verizon here to review, so I'm kind of interested to see how Verizon's doing these days. But I don't like how they try and confuse you with all this bridge data stuff. Like,
Right.
why not just tell me how much I'm getting for the price I'm paying? Why do they try and throw in these technical terms to confuse the average American consumer? That makes me angry.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to understand when you start talking about bridge data, because so if you buy 1 gig for $10, that data is only good for like 30 days. So if you don't use it in 30 days, it's gone. But if you buy the 3 gig for $20, or wait, maybe it's if you buy 500 megabytes, that only lasts for 30 days.
Well, there's your problem, because you don't. I mean,
don't
we
even know.
can't figure it out.
I think that's what it is. 500 megabytes lasts for 30 days. The 1 gig or 3 gig lasts for 90 days, and they just kind of carry over each month, which is kind of cool. If you don't use your data, you could just kind of keep carrying it over. But I don't know, they seem like good deals, but I get the feeling that everyone's just leaving Verizon anyway, and so they just don't seem to care about it. But
Mass exodus
yeah,
from Verizon, no
I
doubt.
guess XLT wasn't good enough.
apparently not. And I think
So-
XLTE works with these prepaid plans too. I don't know. I just thought that seemed like a good deal. 4 gig of data. I mean, no tiered data is good data, but 4 gig of data for $65, not bad. Kyle, what
Yeah.
plan are you're on Verizon? Do you have unlimited data?
I'm clinging desperately to my unlimited data
Okay.
plan.
Okay, so
Okay.
you don't really count. Ron, you're on a shared plan. Any
Yeah, I
thought
am.
to this prepaid plan?
Well, I just did a speed test right now. I've got 2 bars of LTE and I got 3.5 down and 2.5 up.
No thanks.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do another test now. Maybe it's just warming up. But,
I'm gonna do another test. Yeah.
Oh, I'm up
Warm
to
up
3
the iPhone.
bars. Let's see how we do.
Turn
Oh,
the
that's-
fan on behind you. That might help.
Maybe I'm holding it wrong.
You're probably holding it wrong.
That's
Oh,
too
we got 6.5.
Oh.
That's better. Yeah, so I mean, and obviously it's going to depend on location and all that, but long and short of it is it's not as good as it should be, even with. That's just
3
sad.
down, 2 up.
Hey,
I mean,
it's a lot better than 3G used to be. That's double the speed right there.
not much better.
That's double.
I think we're all running speed tests now.
How'd you know?
Here's my Go phone speed test with 4 bars. Yeah, it's like 13.
Yeah,
It's not great.
yeah, and that's I mean,
Ooh, blazing, baby.
yeah,
That was
it's-
80.
Killing. I'm loving me some
Yeah.
AT&T LTE, dude.
Okay, I ended up at 16. That's not bad now.
no.
All right,
So I don't know. I think like Verizon is still very reliable in terms of like their actual coverage for getting signal and all that. But obviously the speeds aren't all they're cracked up to be. I don't think so. They used to be great, but it's just so many people I think switched over.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and obviously it'll change depending on where you're at and everything else like that. But so I'm relatively happy with the plan that we have. I don't know that I would switch to a prepaid plan anytime soon. So mostly just because it's without having, you'd have to go on some sort of payment plan or whatever anyway. So
Right.
unless you make tons of money, which I don't.
So speaking of coverage and things like that, like my wife switched over to T-Mobile recently from Verizon because she wanted that Red Nexus 5. I think I've told you guys that. And so we were in Montana last weekend visiting family, and she had 0 service the entire time we were there. And so AT&T, like I had LTE, AT&T's LTE, Verizon has LTE there. she couldn't even like roam or get on a tower for T-Mobile. She had an R the entire 5 days we were there. So I mean, those are the problems. And I walked in a Safeway, a grocery store in Montana, and they were selling T-Mobile prepaid cards. So when people talk about T-Mobile not having the network, that's like a prime example. AT&T and Verizon both have LTE in the northwest corner of Montana, in Whitefish, Montana, and T-Mobile doesn't even have anything. Like they're not even like leasing or renting space or whatever they need to do on an AT&T tower. They just have nothing. So.
Well, that's why you test drive.
Yeah, that's right. Test drive.
You can't test drive travel though. That's the thing. So
yeah,
that's where you gotta just kind of trust with going with somebody with a big network. So, and you're gonna have like, that's the thing is like figuring out what's best for you where you are on average. But I mean, if you do any kind of travel, even once in a while, and you want to have network coverage, like I would say you have to go with Verizon or AT&T. Like, it's basically the only way to guarantee you're going to get service most of the time.
Pretty much. Yeah,
so,
pretty much. And
that's kind of terrible. Like if something bad had happened, like she wouldn't even be able to make a call. Like,
I think she had call capabilities. But
she's got the R, so she'd be good to go.
Yeah, she had call capability.
It's going to cost her, $5 a second, but she.
Yeah, I think I even checked the box to allow data roaming, which is probably a terrible mistake, just to see if it would work. So we'll probably get like a $1,000 bill. Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunate, but that's part of the deal with T-Mobile. You definitely get it. Yeah, if you're traveling at all and you don't know, you have any sort of question that you might not have service. You probably won't with T-Mobile.
Yeah, that's the thing, and like they're being really aggressive with a lot of the Un-carrier stuff, like the unlimited music streaming thing that they just did. Like that's actually pretty cool. As long as you're using one of those services, like I would definitely most of the people that I know that go over their data cap all the time, it's usually because they're streaming music all the time. So like that's like it's cool they're doing that, but if you don't have the network to support it, then it kind of doesn't matter. So, and I'd rather have my crappy, Verizon, quote unquote LTE with 3 down. That's a lot better than nothing. So that's where it can, like most of the time I don't need crazy fast speeds. Like most of the time I'm not going to be downloading like some gigantic game or like if I'm doing that I'm going to be on Wi-Fi and it's not going to matter. Like I need good enough to upload a picture on Instagram or whatever. Like that's what I need, and Verizon has the coverage and most of the time has the speeds to that are more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Google Plus yesterday finally opened up names to whatever you want them to be. So I don't know if you guys remember, but Google Plus initially launched, you had to put your real name, and some people didn't like that. They want to remain anonymous and troll and all that good stuff on social networks. And so Google Plus lifted that. And so, yeah, you can make your name whatever you want it to be now in Google Plus. Anybody run out to Google Plus and change their name to just something so fun?
No. All credibility out the window for that social network. I liked, that people had some sort of accountability for what they said. Now I'm worried about people just being.
You're legitimately worried.
Shut up, Tim.
What the F are you talking about, Ron? I'm serious, dude.
I'm so serious.
YouTube, man. YouTube commenters, right?
I'm worried about this country.
It's funny because I actually am like dead serious, dude. There was, there was a time when I could take everybody serious on Google Plus. Just the fact that they were using that network just made me know that they were legitimate about everything they had to say.
Shut up.
But now, how do I know? I mean,
there's something about having your actual name tied to something.
Whatever. That's not true. And what? How is that helpful?
If someone is talking smack, then I know exactly who it is, and I can find
done research on this, like sites that have like Facebook, where you have to have like a real, allegedly real name associated with it. It doesn't stop the vitriol on comments. Like it's still just as bad. Like every website that's trying to do that.
Okay. So John Smith is a dick, but not Penguin Lover.
Sorry, John.
Not a dick. You know what I mean? Like, I just want there to be some type of accountability for the things people say, and whether someone wants to take action upon them because they have their real name or something like that, I don't know, but I want to be able to ignore.
Wait, what kind of action are they be taking on these people with real names? What are you talking about?
I can't talk about the type of action we will take.
What is going on? This is why people want.
Ron, this is serious.
This is so ridiculous.
I'm sorry that you want to hide behind a fake name, and just.
I have real names on all my accounts. What are you talking about?
Your name is not really Ron.
That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make.
You've just been trolling us for all these years.
It's not Ron.
Some people on our sites, they constantly switch their names to try and hide their identities, But your IPs, let me tell everyone here, your IPs do tell the truth, and they don't lie. They don't fake that.
Right.
So I know when you're the same person, you're that same mean person who's gonna get banned, things like that. That's my point.
Tim's really just trying to say, stop asking about the arm tattoo, guys. Just stop. Just leave him alone.
I don't mind. It's not a little baby hand. It's actually it's a very, very brutal story.
Is that what you're upset about your baby hand tattoo? That's
I don't
You
mind.
want to go. The actions that you want to take is you want to go violently harass someone. You want their real name. You can go find them.
No comment.
I'm just going to post a post that has 80 pictures of the Moto 360 picture with the arm, just to see what people will do.
I'm going to change all of my accounts to be baby hand. My accounts.
My only point is, Ron, is that I'm just tired of all the hate that's spewed across the internet, and I want people to calm down and just
you're tired. Why don't you write any of the pieces that I've written and tell me about hate?
I actually read.
Ron, you should have used a fake name.
Yeah, you should have used a fake name. But why do you think I went Timotato for like the first, while? Anyways, I'm just saying, I've read all the hate that you've gotten on your posts because I moderate it all. The point is, there are a lot of mean people out there, and maybe they would think twice about saying some of the things they say about you just because you use an Apple product. If they had to use their real name and had something attached to their account, that showed their real life and their base model life and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just want.
Maybe if they had to use their phone number.
If I could come and find them.
Does this mean all the YouTube trolls are back now?
Maybe go fly out and hurt them. Like that's. What else is the argument? Things to me on the internet, like
authenticity. Yes, that's exactly it.
Dude, no one is talking about hurting anybody. We're just talking about being. We're talking about publicly shaming them, on the internet. I'm just saying, be nice, everybody. That's all. Call yourself what you want. Just don't be a dick. That's all I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, even with your fake name.
Yeah, treat others.
Yeah.
Baby arm.
Way.
Even with your baby hands.
Changing my name to baby hand.
I'm logging onto Facebook right now.
All right. So, anyways, that happened. Google Plus. Whatever you want your name to be.
Whatever you want, guys.
Yeah.
Live free or die hard.
You guys want to do a Q&A a little bit? See if we have any questions out there. Q&A.
Get them in quick.
Oh, the first one is Kellen, unclick yourself. Sorry. Sorry, folks. I didn't realize I was going on for 15 minutes. It should warn you. There should be like a setting that says "Get off your own face, asshole."
Yeah. Hey, you, stop it.
Let's see. Here we go. I have no idea the answer to this. Does the G3 have an unlocked bootloader? No. I would say no. It probably doesn't have an unlockable bootloader. It would definitely be locked out of the box, but I would doubt that it would be unlockable.
On T-Mobile, it has an unlockable bootloader according to developers on XDA.
Oh, does it really? Well, that's good news.
Although it still doesn't have root or anything, but it is unlockable. And
that's good news.
Apparently. So
nice. There you go. T-Mobile. Buy it on T-Mobile if you want to tinker. What else we got? You guys seeing anything else?
Functionality-wise, does Android wear like a Pebble with Google Now and a colored screen? Yes.
No, it's way better.
Except you can tap reply and yell at your watch and hope that something good happens.
Go save your baby arm.
Is Android Wear like Pebble with Google Now and a color screen?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
just
I would kind of agree. Although it has way less, Android Wear has way less apps at this point. Like Pebble actually has a decent selection of apps and stuff now. Um, yeah, it kind of is.
I think Pebble is going to die a slow death.
You think so?
I don't think
just
it's slow.
Yeah, it could
It
be
might be
very
quick.
fast. It could be overnight, basically. I just don't see where they're going to be making any money. I mean, their watches aren't very aesthetically pleasing. And they were talking about, taking over the thermostat, but controlling your home thermostat. But they have to find the developers to want to do that. But with Android Wear, when they're developing their applications, the developers, all they have to do is click a button, add an API in or whatever, and boom, you can control the Nest or whatever. I mean.
Yeah.
Google has just too much support going on for developers.
And I think Pebble can easily say, "Hey, we're gonna come out with a watch that has like triple or quadruple the resolution. It's still e-ink, but like you can actually put like high quality. Like that's like between that and having all of them have glass faces that they don't scratch as easily, and having them like look nice, not be giant squares that sit on your. Like if they can do that and then say like, hey, look, we've got a lot of the same functionality that Android Wear does, but it lasts a week. Like that is actually a differentiator, Like that would actually be something I think that would make people at least still consider it as something. And it's cross-platform. So if somebody is using multiple devices and wants to hook up to multiple devices with iOS and Android, they can do that. Android Wear is Android only. So.
I'm definitely interested to see what Pebble does next because they have to do something really good. I mean, they got a jump start on the smartwatch thing. They created Steel, and a lot of people really like Pebble. But yeah, like Google just said we're going to do smartwatches, and Apple probably will. And Pebble's got a lot of work, I think, if they want to try to keep people on their stuff. So,
but it's also like Go ahead, Kyle.
Sorry, I think if they go for the lower end market. They could dominate there. Lower price points like $100, $150, etc. I think
they can afford to do that.
They can't do that. They can't survive. Google can do that because they have other businesses to subsidize it.
They have to cut costs somehow. Because I
don't think so. I mean, if they came out with a watch that had really high quality, really high resolution screens that you can't tell when the second hand is, like that's the thing. Like every time I see the second hand that's really pixelated, that drove me crazy. Like there's just this, like if you up the resolution on that, still keep same great battery. Like that's the other thing too is like when you look at Pebble versus Android Wear, what Google did was they shrunk down a smartphone and threw it on your wrist. Pebble's doing something completely different, and yet the functionality is almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like what they did is actually far more incredible than what Google did when you think about it. Like it's like they've got Snapdragon processors in there, and like it's obviously there's a lot of differences there, and you'd have to have a lot more higher technology to do a big display like the G Watch and the Gear Live, but it's just like they're functionality wise they're about the same, and you've got basically the same space, so you can't do a lot of input with them unless you're going to use some tiny keyboard. So it's just I think there's potential there, but they're going to have to be very specific with how they differentiate and how they advertise against it. And I think battery life is actually a big thing, saying, hey, with Android Wear, you got to plug this in every day. But with us, you plug it in once a day, set a reminder on your phone to plug it in on Sunday night or whatever, and then you're good for a week. Like that is definitely a differentiator. If people knew, hey, if you buy this, you have to charge it every single night, like I don't think a lot of people would keep up with it.
We should sacrifice a few things for the battery life, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I think they've already said like we're not going to go to Android Wear, haven't they? They basically say like we're not doing that. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they can do. I mean, they obviously, like I said, they got a jump start. They've got products that people really like. They do have some developers making watches or watch faces and watch apps or whatever they call them. So they have a full store, everything. So yeah, we'll see where they go.
And of course, Pebble is cross-platform, whereas Android Wear is not.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing for. I would imagine Google will fix that. They'll release an Android Wear app for. Although, can they call it Android Wear and release it on iOS?
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Yeah, why not?
I
think they will.
I would hope that they release it for iOS. I think iOS users and lovers would like Android Wear.
Yeah.
I think it's simplistic, easy to understand, it's functional. I think they could really like it and benefit from using it.
Well,
Well, for anyone who uses- Go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
I was just going to say the big thing to consider for them too is that iOS users are far more likely to buy an expensive device like that than Android users.
Are you calling us cheap?
Yes, statistically.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're absolutely right, though.
It's like an Instagram thing all over again.
I think Instagram's like 4 years old today, isn't it? Instagram's birthday today. Somebody told me that.
IG.
Yeah.
But that's like you're missing out on that's why Nike didn't. What was it? The fuel. What was
Fuel
it?
band.
Fuel band. Like that's why they just everybody we see this across the board year after year where they keep doing studies and interviewing as developers and consistently across the board developers and everybody else are making more money with iOS users. So it was strange to me, especially seeing how for the past 2 years Google's been putting out a lot of their apps almost simultaneously on iOS and doing refreshes on the iOS side before you see it on Android. Like they've been giving iOS a lot of love, and then for them to not have that support at the gate, I thought was interesting.
I think it's interesting that a lot of the top Android devices cost just as much, not more than say like a 64 gig iPhone 5S, because those are just overpriced in my opinion. But a lot of the apps, on Android are just free. Like a lot of the good apps are just free, but I find a lot of the good apps on iPhone are paid apps. I feel like a study saying that Android users are cheap in comparison to iOS users is sort of like it's comparing apples to oranges. I mean, it's just they're very different.
But when you talk to developers that try to sell their apps on both platforms,
maybe they're crappy apps.
Just all you have to do is listen to Marco Arment, and you'll know that we're cheap.
Oh, that's right. So yeah.
Well, I really like Marco Arment. Like I think
we know you do.
Smart guy.
I know it's
No, and he's a very smart guy, and he knows what he's talking about for a lot of things. I think I don't agree with him on everything, but that's definitely one area where it's not just him saying that. It's lots of studies, lots of people interviewing developers, lots of developers that still support Android but have changed their model of how they do things because they've recognized that a lot of people, especially on Android, don't pay up front. And a big reason for that is because these Android devices, there's a lot of them that are good enough that are on the low end side to where you're getting this huge, that's why they have the market share, but they have never had the profit share. And we're starting to see that too with a lot of stuff that Benedict Evans has been putting out and Ben Thompson has been putting out, talking about how Samsung might be in a place where they might start losing some market share, especially in China where they're having to compete against Xiaomi, and even in the States too, possibly, where there's still a lot of churn where people are changing which manufacturer they're with because there doesn't need to be any loyalty if you can get all the same apps.
Brand loyalty in Android.
No, there's not. So it's totally possible for somebody to take that position, especially since Samsung's been making a lot of their money on these low-end devices, and then some of it on the high-end ones, but they're mostly in the developed markets. And if any of that changes, where a big competitor can come in on the low end, like we've kind of been seeing with Nokia coming back in, where Nokia is a name brand that's been known in a lot of these countries for low-end phones that they trust. With all their, with their new Android phones, like those are big risks and threats for Samsung. So we can kind of see some of those things shift. But that's why you see that. That's why you see, even though Android is the biggest platform in terms of users, it's not the biggest platform in terms of people who spend money.
Well, we're cheap.
That's the thing. That's not the point, right? There are plenty of Android users that do want to spend money. It's just not if you look at the whole scale of people, you would think that because Android has all the users, then therefore you should be able to make a lot of money on there, but that's just not the reality. You can make some on there, but probably not enough to cover your development costs, especially if you're doing both iOS and Android. If you want to make money selling an app, then it's more profitable up front to do it on iOS.
We need Google to fix it or something. They can tell us. Here's a quick question. If you have a G2, is it worth the upgrade to the G3? And part 2, does the Verizon model have wireless charging? I'll answer part 2, no, it doesn't. I mean, you can buy a case to give it wireless charging, but not out of the box. Tim, if you have a G2, should you upgrade to a G3?
It's a great question. Happy you asked it. If you're happy with your G2, then why would you? The G2 has a good camera. It has a good display, 1080p, and that's basically what you're getting with the G3. The only difference is bigger display, higher resolution, and Kit Kat.
Laser
I don't know. I'm getting Kit Kats on the Verizon G2, yeah. Yeah, sure, laser autofocus, but at the same time, I mean, does that warrant an upgrade? No, not essentially. But it's hard for me to say because, again, I haven't used a G2 since we last reviewed it, I think. So maybe that's my fault for not showing it more love. But and I love the G2. It was like my second phone of the year after, I think, the Moto X. I would have picked the G2 probably over the Galaxy S4. So yeah, I don't know. That's up to you, man. You need to go get your stuff a phone and try it out yourself. There's a return policy, I'm sure. Just try it out. They're both very good phones, although the G3 is the best phone ever. So, but they're comparable.
Is that an ever slipped in there?
This is probably the best Android phone to ever be released so far. I can't think of one better.
Wow.
Can you just like name one that's like better?
No.
But I mean like overall package better, not just in certain aspects, but overall package ultimate Android phone.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best phone available right now, and so
that could change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to change until next year because I don't think Motorola is going to blow our minds.
I don't think Motorola is going to blow the G3 out of the water.
No,
it's not because they can't. Because whoever they buy their camera sensors from is just they don't even know what they're doing.
They seriously just have a warehouse of like 1999 camera sensors, and they just keep tweaking software because they think that makes it better.
Oh,
even sensors from '99 would be great.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, when the Moto X first came out, oh man, and there was like whenever you were doing a video and the flicker, there was like that 60 cycle hum on old electronics. Like, what is this?
Oh, that's actually a question I have about the G3 with the camera. I probably asked it last. It's tap to shoot, right?
It can do either. You can do tap to shoot,
right.
or you can switch it over to a manual button. Yeah.
I've been playing around with the TiV S Neo or whatever the heck that stupid thing is called. And it's a Windows phone, but it's got tap to shoot on there, and it reminds me so much of trying to shoot pictures on my like Droid 2 or something, and just like it constantly not focusing where I want it to focus, constantly getting the white balance and exposure wrong, like because it's just that's not how you should take pictures. I don't know why that's the default on so many phones.
Yeah, I find that I've been switching back and forth on the G3 from the tap to shoot or tap to focus and then shutter button. I don't know. I guess it depends on what I'm doing. If I need a quick picture, I'll just leave it on tap to shoot. But yeah, I'm just glad that you have the option. Like on the Moto X, I don't think you do have the option. It's all tap to shoot, isn't it?
Well, you can if you tap and hold on the little focus thing, you can move it around.
Oh, that's right.
At least, so you still will pretty likely get a really crappy picture, but you can at least try that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you tap or how you take.
Yeah, like that's not the problem with the Moto X.
Software.
But that's the thing. Like the TiV S Neo, I'm pretty sure has the same camera and sensor as the S4. I think more than likely. Like so, it should be capable of, but it takes the worst. Like seriously, it's on par with like the original Droid. Like it's bad.
That's bad. This phone just came out recently, or is it old?
It's less than a year old.
Well, I guess if it has an S4 sensor, that's pretty bad. Is that Windows Phone's fault then? Maybe software does have something to do with it.
Yeah. Software absolutely has something.
Know.
Yeah, but that's it's just and most Android phones, at least that I've used, have always been tap to focus.
Mm-hmm. And most of them are.
Most are
default. Yeah. It's just Moto X.
Like I think HTC's is not. I think.
I don't know.
HTC or tap to focus. They have a shutter button.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. But so if you should upgrade from the G2, sure, go for it. Or just try it out, Like I was saying, G3, as of right now, best phone ever. But of course, that changes. Because, like you said, this is the best iPhone ever. That's what they always say. Like when the new one comes out, they say it's the best ever. And then when the next one comes out, it's the best ever. I think it's just kind of a misuse of ever. But as of right now, it's the best Android phone out. So
I wouldn't personally switch from a G2 to a G3.
You personally wouldn't?
If you're paying out a like if you got the money to blow, I guess. But like if you're on like I wouldn't break out a contract or whatever just to go from a 2 to a 3.
I'm talking to the 1% of Android users who can afford to just blow cash on any phone they want at all times. Yeah. Hello, 1%ers.
Yeah. Will you hold the gray one up? I haven't seen the gray one in a while.
Gray one's not too bad. You know, I'm trying. But I mean, it's okay. Here's the back for you. I would have preferred the white one, but as you know, AT&T was giving me some guff buying this phone off contract.
Yes, they were.
So, because being a 1%er myself, you know, they love to screw with you. It's the tax man, you know. So.
All right, cool. So that's it for Q&A. Unless you guys have anything else. I missed the Q&A last week. Apologies for that. I see you guys answered Ninja Turtles questions and stuff.
Yep. Very important.
Which, by the way, I'm not at all interested in seeing. And I love Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. That movie looks like poo.
Yeah.
I wrote a response in the Q&A about Michael Bay and how he walked off stage and how I wouldn't support him for that. And someone got mad at me in the comments. Like,
someone got mad at you?
Yeah. It's a curve. Yeah, because it's like, you judge him because he walked off stage or something. And that's, again, if he would have used his real name, I would have found him and tried to explain what actually I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think the same guy said I wasn't a real nerd if I hadn't seen Amazing Spider-Man and all those other movies.
Oh, God. Well,
no.
Let's go find him, Tim. Let's get his IP address and let's go find him.
Find him. Your IP tells everything.
Yeah. Let's go beat that guy up. We're talking about Android phones on a pot. How is that not?
Not nerdy.
Like I don't get it.
You don't look like a nerd at all.
No.
Fingers crossed. He totally looks like.
Do I look less nerdy now? Is this better?
Yeah, it's the big glasses that do it, dude. You know, like.
They do me in.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's talk apps and games.
All right.
Close up shop. Tim, you got any apps you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've got 2 apps I want to talk about. One, which is apparently kind of an old game. I got hit up on Twitter not too long ago. The game is called Timberman, and now, just like Flappy Bird, it's making the rounds on every website ever created. One word, Timberman. It's free to download, but you can spend $99 to remove the ads.
$99?
Sorry, what is it? 99 cents. Sorry. Yes. It's the most profitable game ever released on Android. But, so, what you play as a logger or a Viking. There's multiple characters you can play, but you either press left or right on the display. You're trying to chop down a tree and branches are falling towards you, and you have to be on the side where the branches are not. So you switch sides to avoid branches, and you see how far you can go. My best is like 50 some odd, which I thought was pretty good until I saw my friend Taylor Wimberly on Twitter had like 200 and some odd, so I quit playing and I uninstalled it. And,
he only got that today, though. The other day he put up like 90-something.
Yeah. Well, still, even 90-something is impressive. Like, I just don't have the mental capacity, I guess, because it's kind of hard for me, because I'm like trying to go fast. I want to go fast. I don't want to go all slow.
I feel like Taylor makes me quit playing lots of games. Like threes, I quit playing because he had like tripled my score.
Oh,
I thought I was doing good, like all that stuff. So I just
threes is like the perfect example of that, because like you can get up there and then just to realize that somebody else got like 80 million.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Exactly.
And for the record, we wrote up Timberman either yesterday or Monday, I think.
Monday, I want to say.
Wrote it up on Tuesday. Just throwing that out there.
Just like Flappy Bird, though.
But all of a sudden it was the new Flappy, which Tim called it like 3 days before.
That's all right. You know, the internet's a big place, and no one uses the real name anyway. So how are we ever going to trace, what actually happened?
How are we going to find these people and dish out justice?
That's right.
Baby Hands and me have things to
say. And we need to be heard.
Yeah.
So Timberman, if you're down for mindless, brainless games like Flappy Bird, check out Timberman for free on Google Play or 99 cents with no ads. And I would highly recommend getting the no ads, because this game is kind of obnoxious when it comes to the ads. So pay the extra $1. Don't be a 1%er like me and pay $1. The next app I want to talk about is called Now Paper. One word, Nowpaper. And what's great about this is that it's a wallpaper app, except it has wallpapers that are inspired by Google Now. So you know how Google Now kind of changes the wallpaper, the top art changes based on your location. In Now Paper, you can choose a location that you like, and the artist is actually creating more locations. Like right now, they don't have San Francisco, which is what I wanted, but he said it's coming, so I said all right. So let me show you just real quick. You can choose what location. This is a like a windmill farm or whatever, but it's all in the style of Google Now, kind of flat but nice colors. For each location, they have the different times of days, so dawn, afternoon, evening, night, etc., etc. And what's neat is that they built in the Muse. I said it right third time. And yep, someone's asking for a link, but I got it. Yes. So what you do is has the extension, and based on the time of day, it'll switch between what wallpaper you have on your display. And if you're still using Muse, it's actually quite nice. It does cost $1. But you can choose to not use Muse and use whatever wallpaper they have that you would like at any time you would like. So I highly recommend the wallpaper app. I love wallpapers. I change my wallpaper like 50 times a day. So it's good to have more options in this world. And yeah, it's $1. Try it out. The art's really good.
It does look really good. I'm looking at the listing right now. It looks nice.
Yeah, it does look nice, so highly recommended.
Breaking news.
Oh God.
This always happens. LG news. This every Wednesday they announce something, right? When we're doing the show.
I have to get ahead of Samsung, I guess.
The LG G3 Beat, B-E-A-T, is the LG G3 Mini. It is a mid-tier variant. Let me see. They had some really great quotes in here. It's a compact package dominated by a 5-inch display. That's not compact. What are we talking about? It's 720p, Snapdragon 400 processor, 1 gig of RAM, 8 gig of internal storage, 8 megapixel camera, 2540 milliamp hour battery. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like a mini crappy phone. Let's see. July 18th in South Korea, and then the global rollout from Europe and the Commonwealth of Independent States in the weeks that follow. No mention of the U.S.
They screwed up, man, to release that phone with a 5-inch and only 720p. I mean, the Mini was like the perfect time to say we can still release a sweet phone just in a smaller package, because it has that same body and look as the G3. Mm-hmm. So you put like a 1080p display, 5-inch, S800 or 801, at the most. That thing would have been dope. But no, they opted to go super cheap and treat us like we're children and can't handle nice things.
Yep.
So
I like how they couldn't call it mini though, because 5-inch phone. Yeah, look at this thing.
Packet Dog. Shout out to Packet Dog in the comments section. I'm a pacifist for anyone asking. Like, I've never hit anybody in my entire life, so I'm not actually going to beat anybody up.
What inspired the Beat name? Do they talk about that in the press release, or is it just
the
random?
Beat name? You mean like why does it say Beat?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It was inspired by the beating that Tim's going to give.
It doesn't have Harman Kardon software, right?
It probably still has that 1-watt speaker, though, right?
It has laser autofocus. Ooh.
What?
I don't see anything that says anything.
This is my next.
Larger display, advanced UX. Best of the G3's features, functions, and consumer benefits. Yeah.
Just pulled it out of a hat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they really did just pull the word beat out of a hat. It has no... Yeah, it doesn't say, like, this is why we called it the Beat.
Just because Beats has been the news for the last couple months, they're like, okay, just pick a company.
As odd as that sounds, that's probably totally what they were doing. They're like, Beats is everywhere right now. Apple bought them. Let's call our next phone the Beat. What? It doesn't even make any sense.
That's genius.
Yeah, it doesn't have any... No. Okay. I have no idea why it's called the Beat, but it is.
I think it looks good. I mean, it looks like a G3,
It looks exactly like a mini G3, except it's not mini at all.
It's 5 inch technically. It's mini. It's a half an inch
It's,
smaller, man.
yeah, that's pretty close to like the Moto X.
The bezel's a little thicker on the bottom, but that's just from the picture I see. But it still has like the really thin bezels, and I'm really digging that. Minus the 720p display. I think that's a slap in the face.
Slap in the face.
Did they say how much it costs?
No pricing.
Three
Better
beats
be
and
like
running.
Posting image,
$3.99 off
posting
contract.
image in chat if you're still listening. I think that works. That's a terrible URL. Oh no, it totally doesn't work either.
Nope.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, let's try that again.
It's all right. I can. I just wanted to talk about one more game before we ended. But it's called Leo's Fortune, I think. No one else has that? No, yeah. So Leo's Fortune is mine. I'm talking about it. So Leo's Fortune is actually a really cool game. It was showed off at Google I/O, and they didn't specifically mention when it was coming to Android. It's been a hit on iOS, like every other game that's coming to Android now. It costs $5. Now, I know for some of you that may seem a bit steep, but let me tell you that $5 for an application is an okay price to pay if you're ready for sweet graphics, awesome gameplay, good music, and a good story. Leo's Fortune, he's a puffy little puffball, and he lost his money, so you have to take him through levels to find gold coins and not die, essentially. And it's actually a really fun game. It's the only game I've been playing lately. He talks whenever you complete little tasks inside of a level, and it's super cute. Although again, it does cost $5. So think about it. Maybe look over your statements before you make the purchase. But it's definitely, in my opinion, worth the $5.
Consult your accountant before spending a fortune on Leo's Fortune.
If you happen to smoke cigarettes, then maybe instead of buying your next pack, you should buy Leo's Fortune.
Well, maybe not though, because if you get low on that nicotine and you keep dying,
you're gonna get pretty frustrated. Yeah,
you might get angry. Yeah.
All right, never mind.
Dying.
Yeah, your hands are getting shaky. It can happen. It's possible.
Speaking of that, my favorite commercials these days are the smoking ones where the 16-year-old girl walks into a convenience store and
Pulls
works
off
out
her
teeth
face.
and stuff. Her face. Those are awesome.
Those are offensive. My new favorite one is where the dude cleaning out his voice box.
I haven't seen that.
It's so bad.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't smoke, kids.
Yeah, don't smoke, kids, please.
Don't do it.
I just wanted to mention Chromecast got a big update a week or so ago, so you could cast your screen now, mirror your screen basically, although it's super limited. Nexus 4, 5, 7, 10, Galaxy S4, 5, Note 3, Note 10, 1 M7. I don't think the M8's on there, which is silly. G3, G2, G2 Pro. So yeah, if you have Chromecast, which you probably should, cast away.
It's pretty awesome.
There's an app on. Yeah, it works pretty well. There is an app on XDA that if you have a rooted device, it will let you cast to Chromecast if your device is not technically supported.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
think it works on a lot of tablets and stuff. Yeah, I'll link to it.
Link it up. All right, anybody else have apps?
Yeah.
Ron, you got an app?
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to talk about Picture Life. So I'm constantly
tweeting about Picture Life.
thinking about photos and saving them and all that. So they have apps for iOS and Android, and the Android one is actually, turns out, not as good as the iOS one.
Oh, really? That's surprising.
Yeah, if you can believe that.
Plot twist.
Which is actually kind of a bummer because it has on the iOS version, it has one of my favorite things. But basically, it'll let you upload your pictures. It's kind of like the Dropbox auto upload or whatever. But the difference is, so you can do 25 gigs for $5 a month or 50 a year. You can do 100 gigs for 10 a month or 100 a year, or you can do unlimited for 15, which is kind of nice, or 150 per year. If you want to pay up front. And that's actually for me personally, with my wife and I taking pictures just between the two of us, I think right now we're at about 89 gigs.
Whoa.
Just for our pictures, and we don't have a kid yet. We have a puppy. That's it. So like once we
You
that's
take a
gonna
lot
be
of
bad.
pictures of that puppy, though.
Yeah, I mean he's really adorable. So I mean,
That's
it's gonna
true.
take a lot. But yeah, I'll put a link in the chat because people are asking. But it's so basically if you want to, it doesn't. The one downside I think to it is that so there's apps for Windows and OS 10, but they're just for uploading. So if you want to do any downloading so that you can back it up someplace else, you got to do it manually. So I've emailed support, and that's something they're looking into. So it's not quite as good as Dropbox, but if you've got a ton of pictures and you want to have unlimited, it's pretty sweet. And on the Android app, it's got oh, and actually a huge thing. You can do this. You can't do it in the Android app. You can do it on the iOS app or on the website. You can hook up your Dropbox. So that it'll just import. So if you're already using Dropbox, it can pull over all that stuff, so you don't have to wait, a couple days for all your crap to upload again. It'll just pull over straight from Dropbox, which is super, super awesome. If you want to just try it out, you can do a free trial and just mess with it. But in the app, there's just like a normal timeline view that I won't show you because it's in black and white, so who cares? But you can switch between timeline places and screenshots. So if you want to just see your screenshots, that's kind of nice. In the web version and on the iOS app, you can, and actually on the Android one, you can scroll through and pick specific days. On the iOS version and on the web, it also has memories, so it'll show you pictures from that day. So it's kind of like Time Hop, but it's not limited to pictures you've posted. It's all your pictures. And it also does, what's the other thing it does? Oh, faces. So to just show you pictures that have faces in them. So it's got editing tools. It uses Aviary or whatever that open thing is for editing. So like I said, it's not quite as complete as what I would like. But if you are running out of space on Dropbox and want to have a nice unlimited plan for what I would think is a good price, they're kind of the only independent photo management players left, because everybody else has kind of either gone, like Loom got bought by Dropbox. Who was the other? Everpix is gone. They went out of business. Like, there's just not really a whole lot of them left. So, but Picture Life is at least worth a shot, I think. So check it out.
So I just use Google Plus for that. They just back up everything, and they like auto awesome things or whatever they do. No one else.
Because it's not, because you can't sync it, because Google Plus and Drive don't talk to each other. They only talk one way. You can go to Drive to Plus, but not Plus to Drive. So you can't sync it offline.
Can you use like if this then that for that or something?
Maybe.
You can, but it's not. I've never had great luck with that.
Right. I mean, your solution seems a little more seamless. So.
Yeah, I mean, Dropbox is still like, if you can afford to do it based on size and price, like Dropbox is still the best because it pumps it up and down, so you can have another backup, because you should always have more than one backup, especially for something as precious as your family pictures. So that's still but what Apple's coming out with iCloud Drive and the new Photos app, where you can edit everything on your computer and it's all syncs on your phone and all that. Obviously, it's not going to be available on Android, but that is like the perfect solution, and I wish Google would do that. Where it's syncing everywhere. I can edit my photos with a native application, so I'm not having to wait for a website to do it. Like, I want to have my pictures local and edit them. Like, if it did everything like that, that'd be great. So, but the other problem with doing it on Google Plus is then you always have to hope and pray that some engineer doesn't screw up a setting and all of a sudden all your photos are public.
Seriously, yes.
Which
is kind of a worry sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, especially for something like Google Plus, where you can just put whatever name you want for your profile. So like that's why I don't like. You could also make a good argument for Flickr for this, but it has the exact same weakness that if there's some sort of an error or whatever, all your pictures could suddenly become public, and that's bad. So I would steer clear of those things because they're designed for sharing. They're not designed for storing and keeping things private. Like, that's not what they're about. They're about sharing. So,
how much is Dropbox? The only reason I asked is because Dropbox totally cut me off a while ago when all my free promos ran out after 2 years.
It's 100. I think it's 100 a year for 100 gigs.
Okay, because let's see, I'm using. This is awesome. I'm using 42 gig of 11 gig.
Yeah, it'll keep all your stuff. You just can't add to it.
Right, I just can't add to it. So I would need to buy a lot.
Yeah, and if you're only using 42, that's not bad.
Not bad.
$10 a month just to store photos. I don't know about that.
Well, it does, but it does the auto upload and it syncs both ways.
Okay,
So-
here's a random question, and maybe I'm just dumb and I don't know how to do this. How can I tell Dropbox to stop uploading screenshots? Or can you not?
Just screenshots?
Like, I don't want it to upload all the screenshots that are on my phones.
I don't
You
think
can't tell it not to, right? It just grabs everything, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
I
just
mean,
imagining
well,
it.
actually, if you use that one app that I wrote up, what was it called? I still have it on my Moto X. There's an app that I wrote up about for uploading into Drive when I was still using Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called?
Because like in Google Plus, you can tell it folders specifically that you don't want to upload, like the screenshot folder.
Yeah, that app would do so. If you specify just regular, does it automatically? It's actually, let me find it.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Well, we can figure it out later.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Anyways.
Anyone else use
It's called Drive Auto Sync.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Kyle, did you have a game?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight what I think is the coolest Android Wear app out right now. It's called Flopsy Droid. I don't know how well everyone can see this.
Well, you need to put it to
Can you see it? Yeah. It's a clone
Oh,
of infamous game that was out on Android a couple of weeks ago. No, Flappy Bird, Flappy Bird, of course. I can't even remember. Anyway, instead of controlling a bird, you control Bug Droid, little flying Bug Droid, and navigate him around pipes, of course. You can't do much more than that. I mean, it keeps track of your score. It'll let you know when you reach a new high score. But, I mean, this is a killer app for watches, I believe. I think this will have everybody running out to grab a Gear Live. So,
that is
just
considering that the Gear Live battery already sucks, does Floppy Droid or Flopsy Droid make it any worse at all? Do you notice anything significant?
Yeah. For 5 minutes, you're going to lose a significant percentage of battery. Yeah, it's not worth it really. But I mean, it's something cool to show off to friends, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you need to justify your purchase of an Android Wear device.
I'll just
that's
show
about
Tinder.
it.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think games on this thing are going to take off, but I could be proven wrong, I guess.
They're not supposed to, though, you know? Like, we don't want games.
Exactly. Man, developers are getting it wrong, like that Time article.
Yeah, well, I think they're just having fun at this point. I think the real development is taking place behind closed doors, and these are just the silly people who got free watches at I/O. They're just like, I can port this to Android Wear. Or, you know, like the 4 guys who released calculator apps, you know, and they all suck. I mean, exactly. No. Come on, people. We need real applications.
And plus, I wonder how this is going to work on circular displays. I mean, there's going to be a lot of compatibility issues when the Moto 360 comes out.
Oh, no, don't say that.
It's going to be awesome.
You don't know nothing.
Yeah,
But anyway.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, you guys have any last things going on other than the LG G3 beat? Apparently, Richard Sherman had an amazing speech tonight, Tim.
I don't care.
With your boy Kaepernick right in the front row.
Really? What did he? What was it about?
I don't know. I'm going to watch it right when I get done with this.
All right. Well, me too.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it was an ESPY?
Yeah. He won the ESPY for Breakthrough Athlete or something.
Give me a break.
I think he just went ham on Kaepernick on stage.
Look at him. Oh, I'm sorry to any Seahawks fan, but nope. That dude.
Yeah, so that should be fun. All right, we should be back next week to talk G3 review probably. Maybe we'll know something about the Moto 360. Who knows? So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Episode 64. We are out. Peace.
Bye.
Hi, Tim.
Oh, bye, Cal.